It's okay to start here?
Yes.
All right, so it says given vertex 5, 3, endpoint 12 minus 18, determine the vertex form of the quadratic equation. So you do need that. Y equals A, X minus H squared plus K. So you're given H and K in your problem. It's a little bit odd with the boxes, but it's right now you have Y equals A, X minus 5 squared plus 3. Do you remember how we found A? I'm sorry, A in previous problems.
Put the point in or fill in X and Y and then solve for A.
Yeah, so they give you a point here. Minus 18 is Y. X is 12. Will you attempt to solve for A for us, please? And they're kind of giving you a hint, probably a fraction.
So it's A equals negative 18 over 52.
You have to subtract the 3 first.
Oh, I didn't even write that down on my paper.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, it's lonely over there. That 3. So take it from here. See if you can come up with the right answer and reduce the fraction as much as you can.
Be negative 3 over 7, or A equals negative 3 over 7.
Yeah. Now, do you get feedback on these as you go, or do you have to wait till the end?
I have to wait till the end.
Okay. So one of the things about the next part of it is you do have to graph it. Actually, let me snip that in before I start graphing it. All right. So and what's I think challenge for most students is that you don't actually need a very accurate graph. You need the vertex, which is 5, 3, to call that 5, 3. And is it opening up or down? And that's based on the A value. It's gonna graph down. Now, the reason you don't need a really super specific graph is because all this information on the left here, it's just based on the general shape. So the range, if it opens up, is minus infinity to the y value of the vertex. I'm sorry, and it's a bracket. If it opens down, I'm sorry, I'm really messing this up. Whoops. All right. Okay. If it opens up, it's bracket k to infinity. Yours opens down, so it's minus infinity to the y value of the vertex, which is 5. Sorry, I'm really struggling here. The y value of the vertex is 3. That is terrible. Okay. Any questions on that?
No.
So it's increasing when it's going up and to the right. I'm gonna sort of highlight that. See how it's going up and to the right there in that region.
Yeah.
So the x value where it switches is 5. So everything left of 5, it's increasing. We always think of it to the right. Like we read left to right, we do math left to right. That's minus infinity to 5. So for the increasing and decreasing, you're always looking at the x values.
Do you put a bracket on the 5?
So at 5, it's neither increasing nor decreasing. You're almost like floating in space right there. Now decreasing is when you're going down and to the right. So this region over here. And again, it's the x value, so it's 5 to infinity. So infinity means right, negative infinity means left. Any questions before we proceed to the next one?
Um, got it.
Okay. This one is not really related, but this is the next picture that came in. The order doesn't make sense to me, but we'll do this one next if. Okay. Is it okay if we do this one next?
Yeah.
Okay. So the first thing that you always do in these types of problems is you factor the top and the bottom if you can. The bottom is definitely factorable, and so is the top actually. So if you'll factor the bottom, I'll factor the top for us. So you're looking for two numbers that multiply to -6 but add to +1 there.
So -2 or x -2 and x plus 3.
Yeah, give me the two factors whenever you got them.
-2 and 3.
So it would be x -2, x plus 3, for example.
Yeah.
And then the top, without getting into y, and I certainly can if you would like at some point, it factors into that. All right, so for the domain, you're looking at where the bottom equals 0. So you set each factor equal to 0. So that means x is 2 and -3. These are the excluded values. Any questions on that?
No.
Okay. So what you're going to find here is for rational functions like this, there's stuff that like where you look at the top, the bottom, the original form, the factored form, things like that. Okay. Oh, this has the wrong order. Wow. Okay. So the next part of the problem here, the order to do this in is actually you first look for holes. And holes are where the factors in the top and the bottom cancel. So if you go back and look at your factored form, it was 4x, sorry, -3, x -2, and then you had x -2, x plus 3.
Yes.
So where the factors cancel, that's where the hole is. So there's a hole at x -2 equals 0, and you solve for x. So x equals 2 is the hole. that okay?
Yes.
All right. The next thing you look for are vertical asymptotes. That's where the denominator equals 0 after any cancellations. So right now you have 4x minus 3 over x plus 3. So you just look at where the bottom is equal to 0. So where x plus 3 equals 0, and when you solve for x, that becomes x equals -3. And that's what I think is confusing is it's like top, bottom, factored, unfactored. There's a
Yeah.
lot of things going on there.
Is
Okay.
vertical the same for the y
Question?
then?
Question? Sorry.
Is vertical the same thing for the but with the y then?
You mean horizontal?
Yeah.
So horizontal, let me come down here and make some more space. So there's this, and the language may seem a little awkward, but I think the student came up with this and I actually really like it. There's this idea of top heavy, bottom heavy, and then kind of neutral. So the degree of the exponent tells you whether it's top heavy, bottom heavy, or neutral. So this one is the same on the top and the bottom. So it's not top heavy or bottom heavy, and these all have meanings. So when it's neutral like it is here, it becomes the ratio of the leading coefficients. So to answer your question, it's y equals 4 divided by 1, which is just 4. And it says there are no spaces. Just be careful with that. Any questions with that?
No.
Okay. So the next thing is the y-intercept. So the y-intercept is setting x equal to 0, and you're going to use that reduced form. So 4 times 0 minus 3 over 0 plus 3 equals -3 over 3, which is -1. So it's 0 comma -1. And it looks like there's a bit more there. Maybe,
It's as x approaches negative infinity, y approaches, and then as x approaches positive infinity, y approaches blank.
uh, so something like this. Let me snip it in. Something like this. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. So you really like the idea here is like you've got enough information to graph this. You ended up having x equals -3, a vertical asymptote. Y equals 4 is the horizontal one. And then we know that the 0, -1 is the y-intercept. There's also an x-intercept at 3/4, which it didn't ask for, but your graph looks like this and like this. So how to answer this question? So as x goes to the left forever, so that's this way, the left forever, y goes to 4. So these are typically the horizontal asymptotes, typically. And as x goes to the right forever, y approaches 4. Any questions, thoughts on that?
No.
The graph really helps.
Yeah. Because you can like see it and it seems easier.
Yeah. And graphing, it's a big part of this course. I don't know if your teacher's emphasizing it, but the idea is out of pre-calculus, students know how to graph everything, which when they get to calculus, I find out that they really don't. And it holds you back if you want to do more math, but yeah, it's up to you. This is the next problem I see. Is this okay to work through?
Yeah.
All right. So it says write a cubic polynomial function with the given zeros that passes through the given point. So the thing here is that this minus 4 minus 2i, it comes in what's called a conjugate pair. Minus 4 plus 2i. Is that okay?
Yeah.
So your zeros, which we'll get to, it's x minus a minus 3. Okay. It's always x minus the 0. The next one is x minus, in parentheses, minus 4 minus 2i. That's the first one. X minus, parentheses, minus 4 plus 2i. And this looks really bad, but it's going to get better here in a moment. Is that okay?
Yes.
All right, so the first one on the left here, the double negative becomes x plus 3. That's actually what's going to go in here in that first position. The other one requires you to distribute this negative in here, x plus 4 plus 2i, x plus 4 minus 2i, like that. Is that okay?
Yes.
All right, so I think we did this last week. You have to be able to multiply the two on the right. Well, and the eyes should cancel. Do you want to give this one a try? Do you remember us doing that last time? Maybe we'd been doing it in class.
Um, I think I do it. I'm not sure. Don't they cancel out?
Well, you gotta multiply everything let me give some more room here. So I can draw some students like calling it the rainbow. It's x times that,
Yeah, no.
and then it's the 4 times each of those, and then it's the let me grab a different color, green. It's the that one times that one times that one.
Yeah. When I multiply the 4 and the negative 2i, what does it equal? What am I supposed to do?
It minus 8i, minus 8i.
So is it x squared plus 4x plus 2i or minus 2ix plus 4x plus 16 minus 8i plus 2ix plus 8i.
Okay, so that does sound on the right track there. Couple of things that should happen is that all the I terms cancel, and I times I is really I squared. I'm trying really hard not to jump in and do this.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. So x squared, like you said, plus 4x minus 2ix. Okay, and then it's plus 4x plus 16 minus 8i. And then it's 2ix plus 16 minus 4. Well, sorry, I missed something here. What did I do wrong here? X squared plus 4x minus 2ix, 4x plus 16 minus 8i. Okay, 2ix. That's where I went wrong. Why am I struggling here? Okay, there it is. Plus 8i minus 4i squared. Okay. So what I was trying to say is that these I terms cancel, and you're left with this one. Now I squared is really -1. So you bring this down, you bring these down, you bring this down, but this becomes +4. So could you try simplifying that for us, please?
X squared plus 8x plus 20.
Yep. So if you go back to what the instructor is looking for, they're just looking for the coefficients. Now to find the value of A, we're going to use this point here. This is a bit more work. So I'm just going to grab a snip here, and we're going to kind of reset the problem. So to find A, you're going to put -5 in for X and 4 in for Y. So 4 equals A minus 5 plus 3 minus 5 squared plus 8 times -5 plus 20. Okay. So that's -2, 25 minus 40 plus 20. So you want to give that a shot solving for A from here. It might be a fraction, might be a whole number.
Okay. The A equals 2/5.
Is it positive or negative?
Um, Positive.
But isn't it -2 times 5 over here, which is -10?
Yeah.
So you divide by that negative on both sides, and A equals -2/5. Any questions on that?
No.
All right. Moving along. Just as exciting as paint drying or grass growing. Yeah, don't for a second think like I'm super excited here. Like I'm happy to help you, but this is not interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna lie to you and be like, oh, this is so much fun. Does this one also have the end behavior on it? I couldn't tell. Is that those last two? Um, it looks like it does, right?
I think so. Hold on, my computer just. I think it just.
Yeah, please double check because I don't want to miss out on doing this.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, so the end behavior depends on two things. It depends on the degree and the leading coefficient. So you have the leading coefficient. It's negative 2/5. Okay. The degree though is like you basically look at what what is left over if you look at just the highest exponent. So in the first one, there's an x times an x squared, which becomes x cubed. So the degree is 3, and the leading coefficient is negative 2/5. So there's like 4 graphs that you have to know. And I don't know how to suggest other than to memorize them. But the graph you're looking for starts high and ends low. So like we don't care what it does in the middle. This is the two arrows tell you the end behavior. Any can you give me the answers here?
Uh,
What do you say?
it's. I would say 3 on the bottom and -2 and or
No, these are like these arrows are infinities. These go to infinity. So as you go left forever, that's this one up here that I'm
positive
circling.
infinity, so just infinity,
Yes.
and then negative infinity.
Yes. So for the next one, this Desmos activated problem, like my guess is you plot the points or there's something
Yeah,
built in here.
it's a just a graphing calculator.
Okay. So what I think we should do here is we should both do it. I'm going to use a different tool
Okay.
and see if we come up with the same coefficients. Does that work?
Okay.
All right. So I will be doing mine as well.
My Desmos is not opening up. Where is she?
Sometimes you got to refresh it.
Still.
Okay. I have an answer here whenever you want that, but I would still encourage you to try it on your own as much as you can.
It's still not. I don't know why.
Okay. Well, what I got here, and I guess I don't know if you're allowed to, can you check these as you go, or is it all at the end?
It's all at the end.
It's
Or like
all at the end. All
once I
right.
yeah.
It's all or nothing. It's now or never. Okay. Minus 0.11 and 5.58. Okay. So for the next part of this, where it says to evaluate g of 9, I'd like you to try that. You're putting 9 in for x. So it's like 0.319 squared plus negative 0.11 times 9 plus 5.58. And that doesn't seem right. I guess it is. 3.1, sorry, not 0.3. Let me know when you get your final answer there, please.
I got 31.68.
So I used some software, and you're not that far off, but like maybe it didn't use the rounded values. It seems like you're a little bit off there with that. So the rounded answer is 29.70,
I think
but
I did negative. I did positive 11, not negative 11.
but here's the thing, when I use the like full coefficients, this is the answer. So I mean, you can see they're close. Um, oh, they want you to use your rounded equation. Okay. That looks to be okay then. Okay, does that answer that one? I think that's everything on that question.
Yes.
Okay. It looks to me like we've answered everything you sent over, but please tell me if we
Yes.
have not.
Scrolling. Opening. There's one on the zeros one with -3 and -4. I didn't fill in the A. Hold on.
I believe that was some sort of a fraction. It was the negative 2/5.
The fact of y equals a, x plus 3, 8, and then 20. Okay. Looks like so I got 20 out of 23, so I'm looking for which one it shows wrong. Okay, 2 of them was just, it's just how Canvas puts it in. She goes back and fixes it because it's how it was Infinity was put in.
Okay.
And let me find what the other one is. Okay, and then same with the other one. It just says
Great.
it's spelled wrong.
So it looks like you'll get some points back.
Yeah.
Great. All right. Was there anything else you would like us to cover for today's lesson?
I actually don't have anything else.
Well, we can certainly stop here if that's okay with you. You are the customer. You get to decide.
I'm fine with that.
All right. So let's go ahead and stop the recording.